Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cassie if you're new here, and welcome to Cassie's Castle. For today's video, we are going to be talking about Genie Plus. I've had a couple of questions about Genie Plus. Do I think it's worth it? What's it like using it? So I'm here to give you the rundown of how I used it on my last trip and what I think about it. So if you're interested, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, make sure you guys subscribe, and let's get started. So let me just say that as well. I'm only talking about Disneyland and California Adventures because that's the only place I've been where I've used Genie Plus. I know Disney World also has this system, but I don't know what it's like over there, so I'm not going to talk about it. I assume it's the same. It's working the same way, so maybe this will help you. I don't know. Just talk about what Genie Plus even is. If this is your first time going to the parks, you definitely need to have the Disneyland app in your phone. It's like my biggest tip. It makes your day so much easier. You can see wait times and just like a bunch of things. Now Genie Plus is being incorporated into the app, and this is how you can book your fast passes. So there's like their new fast pass system. It's called Lightning Lane, and it's done through the system called the Genie Plus. So I know it's kind of confusing, but like bear with me and I'll explain. So through Genie Plus, you can book your fast passes or Lightning Lane passes. You can book your reservations. You can see like the times for parades and like different shows. So it kind of like makes your day a little bit easier, because when you open up the app, say like what your priorities are. So you can say like, I really want to watch the fireworks, and then they'll make sure to like remind you, hey, you got fireworks at this time, so you can't have a reservation at this time because you're gonna miss the fireworks. So like it kind of just like keeps a schedule for you, if that makes sense. The biggest thing that everyone has questions about is a Lightning Lane through Genie Plus. With Lightning Lane, it is a $20 fee. This basically gives you fast pass entrance, or like lets you like skip the line basically, or a couple of rides throughout Disneyland and California Adventure. It's $20, and this is $20 per person, and it covers about 8 to 10 rides in the park. I'm gonna go through what the rides are that are included in the $20, so you can see like if it's worth it for you. I'm gonna start with California Adventure, since that was the first park that I went to when I was on my trip. It includes Goofy Sky School, Grizzly River Run, Guardians of the Galaxy, Incredicoaster, Monsters Inc., Soaring Around the World, and Toy Story Midway Mania. So say I book Monsters Inc., I have an hour. They'll give me like a time slot to come back to that ride. So if I book it at 11, it may say, okay, you can come back at 1 o'clock for this ride, and you have from 1 to 2 p.m. to redeem your Lightning Lane pass. And then once you redeem it, then you are able to book another one. So you're not able to book like Lightning Lanes all day right away. You have to redeem your pass, and then you can book another one. Redeem a pass, book another one. That's basically how it worked when you had fast passes before, the free system. This one they do charge you, but now you can do it on your phone, so it's a little bit easier. When I went to California Adventures, we were not initially planning to use Genie Plus, so we were just gonna do the standby lines. However, the lines were ridiculously long when we went. I'm talking like 80-minute waits for like every single ride. 80 minutes, 120 minutes for some rides. It was absolutely ridiculous, and we didn't expect that many people to be there, but I guess everyone was just trying to go to Disneyland that day. So yeah, the lines were really long. It's 11 o'clock, and we were like, we can't keep waiting in these lines because we're gonna miss our trip. Like, we're not gonna be able to enjoy the park as much. So that's why we ended up paying for it, because we're not annual pass holders. We don't go very often. And so when we do go, we wanna make sure that we're able to enjoy everything as much as possible. And standing in lines kind of takes up that time. So that's why we ended up paying for it. But initially, I was not down to pay $20 for these fast passes. Since we started at 11, we weren't able to use the system as much as we would have liked to. The rides that we were able to use our pass for was Guardians of the Galaxy, Incredicoaster, and Soaring Around the World. Everything else, we like ran out of time because we started using it so late. If we would have probably started at like at 8 a.m. with the fast pass system or with the Lightning Lane system, then we probably would have been able to get through more rides, but we only got through 3, so I don't know if it's worth it for 3 rides. But I would recommend, if you're planning on using the system, use it like right when you get there and book your first ride so you can get more use out of it. That's what the Lightning Lane Genie Plus pass whatever covers the $20. Now for California Adventures, there are 2 rides that are not included, but you are able to pay an extra $17 in order to book this. I think it's like $17, $18 in order to get a fast pass for it. And it's Web Slingers, which is the new Spider-Man ride, and then Radiator Spring Racers, which is a ride that always has a long line. Like literally every single time there's always like 100-minute waits for this Radiator Springs ride, and I don't understand why. Those are the 2 rides, and then since Spider-Man is new, that one's gonna have a long line, I think, for like the next year or so, because it's brand new. Everyone wants to ride it, everyone wants to try it out, so it's definitely gonna have a long line. But like I said, it's a separate payment, so it's an additional $18 on top of the $20 that you spent for the other rides. And then I feel like if you have a big family, that can be really expensive. If there's like a family of 5, like that's $100 just on Fast Pass or just on Lightning Lane for the other rides. And then if you want to try and get like cars or Web Slingers, it adds up. It's expensive. I mean, it definitely depends on what your budget is and what works for you. If you don't mind waiting in lines, then just do standby, save yourself the money. We ended up doing Web Slingers, but the only reason why we did it was because that was the first line that we got into in the morning. Personally, I went on Web Slingers, and it's a fun ride, but I don't think I would ever pay the $20 for that ride, and I don't know if I'm like dying to go on it so bad that I'm gonna wait in that hour-long line or however long it is. So I would personally skip Web Slingers if I'm being completely honest, and I would, if you're gonna buy one between Web Slingers or Radiator Springs and it's your first time, I would personally pay for Radiator Springs. I think that ride is so much more fun and definitely more worth the $17. I don't think either of them should be worth $17, but if you're gonna pay for any of them, I would say Radiator Springs. Now we're gonna talk about Disneyland. Since Disneyland was the second park that we went into, I knew that right away we were gonna pay for Genie Plus right when we got there, because like I said, the lines were ridiculous and I already knew the lines were just gonna be crazy. So I was like, we just have to pay the $20. You have to make sure that you are inside the park and your ticket has already been scanned in order to purchase your Genie Plus Lightning Lane passes. You can't do it from your hotel, which sucks. You have to be inside the park. The rides that are included for the $20 is Autopia, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Buzz Lightyear, Astro Blasters, Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones, It's a Small World, Matterhorn, Millennium Falcon, Roger Rabbit, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, and Star Tours. So there's definitely more rides that are included. I kind of feel like it's a little bit more worth it because you can get more rides that always have long lines. Like Millennium Falcon always has long line. So does Matterhorn, Small World, Indiana Jones, like Haunted Mansion can kind of get long, Thunder Mountain, like there's a bunch of rides on here that have really long waits. So Space Mountain and Splash Mountain, especially in the summertime, Splash Mountain, I would definitely recommend getting one of these passes because those lines can be ridiculous, and then if you're in the heat, it's even hotter. So I would definitely recommend it, especially in the summertime. I think in the winter you can kind of skip the Genie Plus system, if I'm being honest. Then there is an additional $17 if you really want to do a Lightning Lane pass for Rise of the Resistance, which is like the new Star Wars ride. I was not able to ride it. I still haven't ridden this ride. What I would personally do is go straight to Rise of the Resistance, make that the first ride that you do the standby for. That way the line is shorter. And then I would pay the $20 for the Lightning Lane for everything else. If you feel like the lines for the rest of the day are gonna be too much for you, then I would say pay it. It's basically all the info I have on Genie Plus, but I want to talk about like pros and cons that I kind of noticed when using all of this. Pros are obviously that you get faster lines and you can get more out of your day, which I think is great for someone that maybe you only go to Disneyland once a year or once every 5 years, like you don't go very often. Then I would say it's definitely worth paying because you want to be able to experience the park as much as possible, and standing in hour-long waits is definitely not worth it in my opinion. I would just pay for it just so you can get more out of the parks, and also kind of look at the time of year that you're going. Like right now it's like January, February, like even March, like it doesn't get busy in the parks at this time, so you may not even have to pay for it. Like the lines may be short, but if you go like in the summertime, those lines are always going to be ridiculously long. And then obviously Christmas breaks, anytime that there's like a break with like kids from school, like look at those kind of schedules, and if you're going during those spring breaks and winter breaks, then you're probably gonna have really long lines, and I would pay for it. And then every time besides that, I don't think you'll have an issue with getting on all the rides that you want without Genie Plus. One of the biggest cons I felt is that I was always on my phone because I was in charge of booking our fast passes. I had all our tickets linked on my phone. It was kind of annoying having to walk into the park. Like I remember Disneyland, I was like so stressed because I was like, okay, we need to get like as much use out of Genie Plus as possible. So when I walked in, I was just like on my phone trying to book the first ride, and I couldn't even like enjoy walking into the park, seeing Main Street, the Christmas tree. Like I feel like I missed all of that because I was literally just glued to my phone trying to get us fast passes. So that is like definitely one of the cons. After every single ride, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, now I have to like book us another one so that we're able to get more use out of our $20 that we spent, you know. So I think that's like one of the biggest cons, is that you kind of feel like you're always on your phone, checking the schedule for the next showtime, having to book your mobile orders, having to like literally everything is on the phone. So I mean, it's easier because you don't have to like run around and get your fast passes, but I would personally love to run around and get fast passes than having to be on my phone trying to get fast passes, if that makes sense. So personal preference. I mean, maybe you love this system, I don't know. Overall, would I pay for Genie Plus again? I think the only time I would ever pay for Genie Plus is if I feel like it's super busy and I am with someone that maybe doesn't get to go to the parks very often. I feel like I get to go a couple times a year, so like I am not tripping off of having to be like having to get into the rides as fast as possible. Besides that, I am not paying for Genie Plus. I don't think it's worth paying it that much money for rides. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to talk to you guys about it and hear your opinions on Genie Plus. I mean, I think it works, but it's just, I don't like that I have to pay for it. I don't like the principle of having to pay to get on rides when I already paid $130 to get inside the park. Like, it's just too much money in my opinion. Kind of ridiculous. And then plus you're gonna take all my money from the merch that I'm gonna buy, and you're gonna take all my money for all the food that I'm gonna buy. I don't want to pay to get on the rides. Like, what is free? Just like walking down Main Street? No, not even that, because I'm gonna end up buying something. I think Disney should go back to free fast passes. I think it was a great system. It worked. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear it. And hopefully you found this video helpful for your next Disney trip. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.